PayPal Mafia is attempting to buy Greenland, and I'm going to prove it. But here first, we got to talk about Honduras in 2011. Then I'm going into the gym. Let's rock. In 2011, there was this thing called a REIT created in Honduras. A REIT was going to allow for corporate town-like developments to be created in specific areas that would not fall under Honduran law and would allow for economic growth and development. By 2013, they said, can't do this. This is wrong. But 4 judges on that panel that said it was wrong were immediately dismissed the next month, replaced by Juan Orlando Hernandez administration, and then it was passed. The ZEED in 2017 would get used to form what's called Prospera LLC with Eric Breimer. Eric Breimer would use this state as their model for what they were looking to build. Problem. By 2021, Juan Orlando Hernandez was arrested, and the next person in charge said the ZEED, can't do this. This is wrong. But Prospera LLC had already been building for 4 years. So they sue Honduras for $10.8 billion. Here's Eric Breimer's tweet regarding that exact thing. How does this have to do with Greenland? Well, the thing about it is they want this Prospera LLC to create areas where there's 1% business tax. No FDA regulation, not even crime regulation. Somebody was killed last year in Prospera LLC, and they just simply sent the money to their family and never even investigated it. They said, here you go, shut up, here's some money. Who's backing Prospera LLC? Peter Thiel and Mark Andreessen through a company named Pronomos Capital. Pronomos Capital was founded by the grandson of Milton Friedman. Milton Friedman was the one who helped Reagan create Reaganomics. Interesting. Patrick Friedman, his name, also had this idea of seasteading. Seasteading was this idea of creating a city out in the ocean in the middle of nowhere so you didn't have to abide by any governance. You listened to the whales and the dolphins. That was your law. You could create whatever law, do whatever you wanted, and it became a crypto wet dream for laundering. Peter Thiel, Mark Andreessen. Peter Thiel, the founder of PayPal. Now we look at Greenland. Greenland is someplace that Elon Musk wants to go for drilling. He wants it for data centers. And we already know that Musk is super involved with the government through Doge. He tweeted that Trump was a pedophile and then had dinner with him just last month. And now Grok is getting utilized in the Department of Homeland Security. The guy's basically part of the cabinet. Also, a founder of PayPal. The AI crypto czar right now, the guy who would be heavily involved in crypto regulation around something like an AI backstate surveillance city, currently being branded as a freedom city, is also one of the founders of PayPal and being advised by Mark Andreessen, who's one of the funders of Pronomos Capital. Seems like a conflict of interest, but who even cares about that at this point? So we have 3 PayPal Mafia members involved in this formation of what's going to be an AI tech surveillance city branded as a freedom city. And by the way, Trump said we're going to have 11 freedom cities in America.
These freedom cities will reopen the frontier, reignite American imagination, and give hundreds of thousands of young people a new shot at home ownership and, in fact, the American dream.
Let's get to the point. The point is this guy named Ron Lauder and a guy named Ken. We're going to start with Ron. Ron suggested that we go take Greenland back in 2019. It wasn't until 2025 that it started to gain some momentum. And so Ron, back in May, decided to go to Delaware's corporation site and create a Greenland LLC. He used that Greenland LLC to recently, in November of this year, invest in a Greenland water company, the Greenland Water Bank. Interestingly enough, in October, something happened that kind of set in motion the fact that we're definitely going to be able to get Greenland. 2 things happened since then. 1, Ron Lauder invested into Greenland. And secondarily, Juan Orlando Hernandez, the guy arrested in narco-terrorism just a few years ago, is pardoned. Why was he pardoned? Speculating here, but could it have anything to do with him helping create the framework for the Prospera LLC experiment? I don't know. But let's get back to this guy named Ken. Ron Lauder said, I will be your bridge of communication between America and, not Greenland, Denmark. Denmark owns Greenland. So, how could we create an official line of communication between America and Greenland? Oh, I don't know. Let's assign Ken Howry the position of ambassador to Denmark. And by the way, Ken Howry is one of the investors in the Founders Fund. And the Founders Fund was created by Peter Thiel. And the Founders Fund also helps supply funding to Pronomos Capital. Also, Coinbase Ventures helps the Pronomos Capital funding. And Coinbase Ventures is heavily funded by BlackRock. Hi, Larry Fink. Okay, check this out. Ken Howry is also one of the founders of PayPal. So here's what I think is happening. Ron Lauder, this guy who looks like he just stepped out of his crypt, he's also a big writer for this guy. Loves this guy. He also serves on this council, which I won't say out loud for the sake of the algorithm, but you can put two and two together. But between him and Eric Breimer, owner of Prospera LLC, Zionism is written all over this. Secondarily, we have billionaires written all over it. Specifically, billionaires that came from a sect of the PayPal Mafia, in which a guy 2 years ago burned himself alive outside of a court hearing of Donald Trump just to get the fact out that PayPal Mafia members are coming for us. For your reading pleasure, I went ahead and put his manifesto in my bio. He might have been crazy, but he makes some decent points. So I believe that billionaires are going to utilize the desolate areas of Greenland to test AI tech surveillance cities being branded as
freedom cities,
so they can bring an AI tech surveillance town to us, right to our own domestic home front. And they're going to test it in places like Greenland. And also, by the way, something similar is going up in Gaza. It seems very clear and obvious there's a conflict of interest going on, and it has to do with Greenland, and it has to do with the PayPal Mafia.